Hello again, this is Grimweird, and we are doing an Enigmatica 2 expert playthrough for Minecraft. And in this episode, we are going to take all the spoils from this lovely village that we just pillaged and burnt down halfway, and we're going to go find a place to set up a permanent base. So I went ahead and we were taking shelter from a cockatrice in this building. I went ahead and loaded everything up into backpacks with the help of combining the wheat and the hay bales, making some of the sand into sandstone, compressing the gravel. So we pretty much got everything into our inventory. Some of the stuff I might have to jettison if I pick up something better. Um, with these only having a durability of 1 and not really working, you might wonder why I'm taking them, but I think you can actually smelt those and turn them into iron ingots. If we have a problem getting a hold of iron, we probably won't, but if we do, I would like to at least get 9 ingots scraped together and make a flint and steel, because I want to get a charcoal pit going. So, taking a look around, we ended up getting several emeralds. We have some of our seared brick for our smeltery ready to go. But we don't want to set up shop here or we will get all these villagers killed for sure if the cockatrice doesn't attack them. So looking around, I like chaparral. Up here we have some savanna, more chaparral, plains, forest hills, a redwood forest and orchard. An orchard's going to be good for some fruit, and a redwood forest nearby, which is going to mean lots and lots of wood. So probably somewhere up in here is where we want to set up our base, unless there's a dragon right up there. So we're going to go ahead and sort of head north. So off we go. I probably should eat something. Put all my food away in bags, except for the marshmallows. We'll eat a marshmallow. That even gives us speed. So we can make a quick dash and run past the cockatrice if it's around. Looks like some more beet has grown, which could have got us some more emeralds, but we've got several emeralds. That's plenty for now. As long as these guys live, we can always come back and trade for more. And again, like I said last time, it used to be in the old days, you could only find emeralds rarely under extreme hills, I think, if I recall correctly from my vanilla days. But nowadays, it's pretty darn easy to get emeralds. I think they grow. They still are under extreme hills and other mountainous type terrain, but in addition to that, I think they're also under most forest terrains. And there's even some in the netherrack now that yields really good. So getting up there is going to be a pain. But, yeah. How about we do a jump cut while I get up on the hill? And we are up. I had to take a nap halfway up. It was exhausting work getting up that hill. So let's take a look around. Chaparral, as I mentioned, I sort of like sometimes making a base here based on what I saw in the last couple times I tried this in the last couple weeks. Just because there's a lot, you can usually find a nice open area. You can find some copper. Guess I can start trying to mine some copper while I'm here, if I had room. I don't need that, and I don't need that. Don't need it anywhere as much as I need copper and coal. So Yeah, I'm going to just grab a little bit of this copper. I don't want to spend a lot of time mining because if you guys are at all familiar with this game, you know what mining is about. So mostly we just want to grab a little bit so I have some, and then continue to look for where we want to set up our base. There's some sort of structure up here. That could be interesting. Some sort of fort. I'm not above pillaging villages, and I'm also not above stealing forts. A smith and another smith. So this place is nice. I've seen one of these before. I want the iron bars, so I'm going to take those. So in this expert pack, you'll see that my slime pickaxe cannot harvest that. I need a harvest level iron. So I'm a long way from that. I can't harvest iron ore, can't harvest gold ore, need Certus for that. So if we look at our book here, under getting started, I am at harvest level 0, which is flint. I think then the next one is copper, and then and you might have to get your clay bucket and a smeltery going first before it'll even give you that advancement. I believe this one is Certus, iron, lead, osmium, obsidian, cobalt, manulin, osgloglass, inderium, and then I'm not sure what this stuff is. Stuff that I've never played with. One thing that I'm watching for, I probably won't. You've already seen me attack one village. I will probably off camera go and look for more villages to raid, because some of them have black quartz in chests, and black quartz you can make a sharpening kit with that to jump straight up to, I believe it's lead. So that can be a real handy jump in harvest level or harvest ability. You still have to clean up all the stuff, and oh, look at all this. We got an ender sack. That's useful since I'm stressed for stuff right at the moment. Let's see, I don't need purple carpet though. Let's see, I have a bar stack going somewhere, I thought. Maybe they already joined the bar stack. So yeah, we now have one of these. We can open up this ender sack. Oh, and look at that. We got tons of room. Let the pillaging continue. Cool, cool, cool. So that lets us steal all this garbage. Oh, I warned you about air charms. Yeah, so this air charm is on. I'm going to toggle it off because I don't want to burn it up by accidentally walking on air every time I step off a slight incline. I'm going to throw those back, throw that back, grab this. We can put some more of this stuff up there. We're going to stop doing the harvesting until we decide where we're going to set up a base and get our smeltery going. So mostly I'm just going to be picking up a few loots here and there. We can throw that across the room and then pick it up again and put it in here. So when you right click this on, it burns durability and you basically walk on air. So that can be very handy. Steal that. Steal some of this. steal these. So this mess is netherrack, and netherrack takes iron to mine. So we're going to leave that alone. We're going to set up a waypoint here and just come back for this gold and iron and netherrack. Let's call this fort. Color it blue. I tend to color code things. It's like red for dangerous, blue for a resource, you know, things like that. Turn that off. Alrighty. I don't necessarily want that junk, but I do want the chests. This is probably getting sort of boring for viewers, but we are almost done with this fort. And then we'll go back to looking for stuff. Looking for a place to live. Oh, look at that. Another village. Is that another village? Where are we? Yep, that's another village. Alrighty, so we are currently smack between two villages in a fort. Technically, this fort could be our base, right? We got a nice footprint here. We got some walls pre-made. We got torches. We got a couple villagers that I will probably get killed, but that's all right. I don't need smiths, I don't think, for anything. Got a nice perimeter going. Eventually we could then start like a bigger base somewhere else. I think we're far enough away from both villages not to get them killed. Got lots of trees there. I don't see any dragons. Yeah, maybe we're home. Okay. Well, I think we're going to do a jump cut here. I am just going to take a quick run in a circle here. Make sure there's nothing that is going to blow up our game if we set up a base right here. We don't want to be too close to like a dragon, or we don't want to be someplace annoying because we don't want to have to move around a lot. We got a bunch of lava over here. We got sand. We got a good village over here. Got an okay village over here as soon as the cockatrice problem is dealt with. Lots of wood. Some savanna. I did want to take a look at the orchard up here beyond the village. So yeah, I think we'll do a jump cut. I'm going to do a big circle here, see what's interesting, and maybe this is home. So be back in a moment. And we're back. As we can see from the map, so here's the fort. I did a quick lap around the neighborhood, checked the perimeter, marked a few points of interest. There's a good source of lava there, a few more off here. So we got plenty of surface lava to get us started. That's nice. This redwood forest is so full of wood that we're going to have no problem getting lots of wood. There's a little rail cave. I took a peek in it. There's not much there, but it does have a bunch of tracks, so maybe we'll go back there and steal those and smelt them for iron if we need to. There's an open ravine over here, what looks like the beginning of a big cave system over here. I didn't mark it on the map because you can see it on the map, but there's a little astral sorcery. I guess it's probably medium size one over there. We're going to have all the sand we need because there's a little desert over here. We got the village down here and another village here. I took a quick look at this village. It's going to have tons of pistons and stuff. I didn't see an immersive engineering building for treated wood, so we might have to actually make wood the hard way by doing it ourselves. But yeah, it looks like a good neighborhood, and so we're just going to go ahead and take over this fort. As I was sitting here thinking about the situation, one of the villagers walked through the netherrack fire and almost killed himself. and another one of them has wandered outside the walls and is already getting lost. So I have a feeling this will be all ours pretty soon. Um, I have a feeling the villagers will just end up killing themselves or being killed. So basically, the only thing left that I'm worried about, well, not worried, but it would have been nice. I don't see a large, um, I don't see a large astral sorcery temple in the nearby area, but we only really need it, I think, to get up and running, get our first wand and crafting table. So I probably don't need it. I'm not really familiar with astral sorcery. I played around with it a little last week when I was investigating this mod pack and thinking about getting back into Minecraft. So I'm not sure what happens in the long term, but in the short term, I don't think we need one of those. So, other than to make a pilgrimage to one to get us rolling. So yeah, this is now my fort. I claim it. Dibs. Villagers are already wandering off, so I don't think they're going to mind. So what I'm going to do off camera between this episode and the next is I'll probably make a few modifications to this place, make a few changes. If you hit F7, you can look at the lighting layout of it. So I'll do a perimeter check, make sure that torches are in sensible places, make sure that we're not going to have any monsters spawn inside the wall. Another thing I like to check is F9 will show you where your chunk borders are. So the yellow one is the center of the chunk, the green lines are the edges, the red lines are the junctions between chunks. Again, I'm a sort of an old school vanilla player. I was playing back in beta. So back in those days, you tended to build your forts or your bases up and down to keep everything in like one chunk and the surrounding chunks. So like a 3x3 chunk area with most of your stuff centered in the middle. Nowadays, there are ways to force other chunks to stay loaded and active, and more chunks may stay active just in general nowadays. I'm not sure, but I'm still in the sort of habit of building up and down. So usually, what I do is I dig down to bedrock, and then I have like 3 or 4 levels underground, and those levels are going to be pretty big rooms. And then I usually build some sort of tower and go 3 or 4 levels up as well. So that's sort of my usual habit, and I'll probably follow that here as well. The only thing I'm worried about is that nowadays these mods, some of them require big multi-block structures like Astral Sorcery. I think at the end of that requires some huge like 19 by 19 temple that you have to build. So that may not work unless I put it on the roof of a tower or something. But, those are problems for other days. For the near future, we're going to clean this place up, make it a bit safer. We're going to spread out some of the chests we've gathered and stow some gear, start sorting it out into different chests. We're going to go raid that village and steal more chests and more stuff, bring that back, get that all out and sorted. Then we're going to start doing some stuff. We want to set up a couple of Pam's Harvest Craft beehives, start making some honey and some wax. The honey will turn into a slime source for us, and also be useful in cooking later on when I get into that. And the wax will be used for making hardened or toughened or whatever it is, leather for our glider that we want to make pretty soon. I've got a bunch of slime, so I might go straight into slime boots so that I bounce when I fall, and I might make a slime shot just to increase my range and my travel. What else are we going to do? We might make some drying racks and hang up some cooked meat to turn into leather. I'll probably pick a little spot maybe over by that water and get some industrial hemp growing because I'm going to want some of that. I'll probably go and grab a whole bunch of wood and start a charcoal pit. To do that, I'm going to need flint and steel to start the charcoal pit burning. But I'll probably set up a really big charcoal pit somewhere to set us up for burnable fuel for the foreseeable future, possibly forever if I make a big enough pit with all this wood that is easily available. And of course, when we look at our book, we have got mods to unlock and things to make. So we need to get our harvest level up. Depending on what I find in that village, I might be able to jump straight to lead if there's some black quartz in there. I might be able to at least jump to iron if I find enough things that I can melt in a smelter to make a sharpening kit. We've already got some rails that we can melt in a smelter. I think we can melt the iron bars in a smelter. We got a few iron tools that we stole from the first village that can turn into ingots in a fire. So we'll get enough to be able to do that pretty darn quick. This harvest level 2 Certus seems to be sort of a pain in the butt. I don't know how you do that one. So usually I just try to skip straight to iron or higher. And we're going to make a clay bucket. That's going to be easy enough, and that will give us the ability to gather some lava. And then once we do that, it'll ask us to make the smeltery. We already made a bunch of grout while we were running around and have got that into some seared bricks so I can start the smeltery up. So this is probably going to be a pretty big break while I sort of get our fort set up here. I'll try to run some tape again if we have any interesting events happen. But otherwise, this will just be basic setup of the base. And when at the beginning of the next episode, I'll show you its features, to quote Jorg Spray from the Slingshot channel. Let me show you its features. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching, if you're watching. Thanks for coming through this journey with me. And we're at the beginning of a wonderful big base here. So I will talk to you next time.